What if you were born to rust, not to shine like gold or gleam like bronze, but to slowly, surely, wear away? You open your eyes, and the world isn't a garden or a battlefield of heroes. It's just hard. This is the life Zeus has forged for you. You are the Iron Race, the last chapter in the grand saga of humanity, and the gods are already tired of the story. You look at your hands. They are not crafted for epic poetry or heroic deeds. They are made for toil, for pulling plows through stubborn earth and gripping crude iron swords in petty conflicts. The air you breathe doesn't taste of ambrosia, but of sweat and wood smoke. At night, you don't dream of Olympus. You dream of having enough food for winter. This isn't a punishment. Not exactly. It's a release. The age of heroes, with its demigods and earth-shaking monsters, is over. The gods have stepped back, leaving behind a world drained of its vibrant magic. You are free. Free to suffer, free to struggle, and most terrifyingly, free to choose your own path. Unlike the races before, your fate isn't a grand tapestry woven by the fates. It's a rough-spun cloak you must stitch together yourself, thread by painful thread. This freedom is a heavier burden than any divine command. A common misconception, a detail often smoothed over, is that the Iron Race was inherently evil. But you're not evil, you're just weary, born into the twilight of the gods. Scholars still debate whether Hesiod's account of the 5 ages was a widely held religious belief or a philosophical metaphor for the perceived decay of his own society. The golden glow of the past is just a story old men tell, and ahead of you lies only the cold, hard reality of iron. Would you rather have a short, glorious life, or a long, difficult one? You feel that weariness we talked about, right? That bone-deep exhaustion. Its origin story is older than you, whispered on the wind. It all comes back to a single, fateful gift, a beautifully crafted jar or pithos left in the care of the first woman, Pandora. You know the classic story. Curiosity gets the better of her, she lifts the lid, and all the world's evils, sickness, war, poverty, envy fly out like a swarm of phantom insects. They latch onto the world, onto your world, and begin their endless work. But here's the Easter egg detail that changes everything. After the torrent of misery escapes, one thing remains behind, fluttering weakly at the bottom of the jar. Elpis. Hope. But what is hope? Is it the divine light that helps you endure the darkness? Or is it the cruelest torment of all? It's the whisper that tells the starving farmer to plant one more crop in the barren field. It's the delusion that tells the soldier his next battle won't be his last. Hope is what keeps you chained to the struggle, preventing you from simply giving up in this harsh iron world. It makes you endure the unendurable. Is that a gift? Or is it the final, most sophisticated curse from Zeus's collection? Scholars still debate whether the Greek concept of Elpis should be translated as the positive hope we know, or as a more neutral, deceptive expectation, which could be for good or for ill. It's the one divine spark left in the world, and it might just be the one that burns you the most. Do you think hope is a blessing or a trap? Let me know in the comments. Every morning, as you wake to the cold iron dawn, you can almost hear it, a faint, distant sound on the wind, carried down from the Caucasus Mountains. It is a scream, followed by the powerful beat of enormous wings. This is your world's eternal soundtrack. The suffering of Prometheus. Remember Pandora, the source of your troubles. She was Zeus's punishment delivered to humanity. But Prometheus, the titan who gifted you fire, the very spark of civilization that allows you to forge your iron tools and warm your meager homes endures, his punishment directly, every day. An eagle, a son of Typhon and Echidna, descends to tear out his liver. Every night it grows back, a cycle of agony as relentless as your own cycle of toil and hardship. His punishment is not just a distant myth, it's a constant, visceral reminder of the price of defying the gods. His fire is in your hearth, and his screams are in your ears. This is a detail that connects his cosmic punishment to your daily life. The ancient poets say the winds, the anemoi, would sometimes carry his cries across the Black Sea, a chilling omen for sailors. It's a message from Zeus, written in pain across the sky. This is what happens when you reach for things beyond your station. Scholars still debate whether Prometheus was viewed by the average Greek as a noble, culture-bringing hero, or as a dangerously arrogant trickster, whose actions rightfully brought misery upon mankind. You feel the warmth of his fire, but you also feel the chill of his fate. You are living in the shadow of his sacrifice, and his eternal pain is woven into the very fabric of your Iron Age. Something is changing. It's a subtle shift, a quietness you can't quite place. The streams seem less alive, the winds less like messengers. The gods are leaving. It's not a dramatic exodus with chariots blazing across the sky. It's a slow, silent withdrawal, like a tide going out and never returning. Remember the screams of Prometheus we heard in the last part? They are becoming fainter, not because his suffering is ending, but because the world is growing deaf to the divine. The gods are retreating to Olympus, bored and disillusioned with the petty, grimy affairs of your iron race. You don't have demigods walking among you. No Hermes will appear to deliver a message. No Athena will whisper strategy in a general's ear. Prayers now feel like they are being thrown against a brass sky, echoing back with no answer. This is the great separation. The Easter egg here is the specific reason for their departure. According to some tellings, it wasn't just boredom, it was disgust. The final straw was the violation of Xenia, the sacred duty of hospitality. When humans began murdering guests under their own roofs for a few coins, the last bond of trust between mortal and divine was shattered. The gods looked down and no longer saw beings made in their image. They saw something alien and disappointing. Scholars still debate whether this withdrawal was a literal belief or a way to explain why miracles ceased and the world seemed to operate on colder, more mechanical principles. You are truly alone now, left to navigate a world that has lost its magic. You look to the mountains for a sign, and for the first time, there is only silence. In the silence left by the absent gods, a new sound rises to take its place. The clang of iron on iron, the clash of swords, the splintering of shields, the cries of men. War is no longer a grand heroic affair orchestrated by divine patrons for immortal glory. It is a grim human business, fought for scraps of land, for stolen pride, for nothing at all. You see it erupting everywhere, a plague of your own making. And the greatest of these conflicts, the one that will be sung about for 1,000 years, is gathering on the shores of Troy. But you must understand, the Trojan War is not the cause of your age's decay. It is its most famous symptom. Forget the romantic tales of a face that launched 1,000 ships. See it for what it is, a decade-long meat grinder fueled by stubborn pride and greed. The gods, as you recall, have mostly checked out. They watch from Olympus like bored aristocrats at a gladiator match, placing casual bets, occasionally nudging the action for their own amusement, but without the deep investment of ages past. This is the lesser-known perspective. The Trojan War as the first truly human war. It's not about gods fighting gods through human proxies. It's about men fighting men, driven by their own flawed, iron-willed natures. Achilles, Hector, Agamemnon. They are not heroes in the old sense. They are men, powerful and doomed, trapped in a cycle of violence they cannot escape. Scholars still debate whether the Trojan War was a real historical conflict that marked the collapse of the Bronze Age, or a foundational myth created to explore the very themes of human pride, loss, and brutality. You just know that your brothers and sons are marching off to die on a foreign shore, and no god is coming to save them. The war for Troy rages on, a monument to human stubbornness, and in the heart of this storm is the concept of Clio's immortal glory, but even that has been twisted. For the heroes of old, Clio's was earned through great deeds blessed by the gods. For you in the Iron Age, it's a desperate bargain made in a godless world. No one embodies this more than Achilles. You see him on the battlefield, a blur of bronze and death, the greatest warrior of his generation. He was given a choice, a prophecy from his goddess mother Thetis. A long, quiet, and forgotten life, or a short, brutal life in exchange for a glory that will echo through eternity. He chose glory, but look closer, because Clio's is not a celebration of life. It is built entirely on death and destruction. It is a glory steeped in rage, grief, and petulance. Remember how the gods have grown distant. Achilles is the perfect example of this new, lonely heroism. He doesn't fight for Zeus or for Greece. He fights for his own honor and to avenge his friend Patroclus. His motivations are deeply, painfully human. The Easter egg interpretation is that Achilles' choice wasn't just about his own fate. It was a metaphor for the entire Iron Age. You can either live a long, anonymous life of toil, or you can try to carve your name into history with a sword, knowing it will cost you everything. Scholars still debate whether the character of Achilles was meant to be an ideal to aspire to the ultimate warrior, or a cautionary tale about how destructive and self-consuming the pursuit of personal glory can be. Achilles will get his wish. His name will never be forgotten. But as you watch him, you have to wonder if it was worth the price. The walls of Troy have fallen, reduced to ash and memory. The survivors limp home, but for many, the journey is a new war in itself. And one man's voyage becomes the defining epic of this struggle. Odysseus of Ithaca, his 10-year journey home, is not a grand adventure. It is a brutal testament to what it means to be a mortal man in a world that has, for the most part, stopped caring. Remember the silent, indifferent heavens we spoke of? Odysseus lives that reality every single day. The monsters he faces, the Cyclops, the Sirens, Siloa, not just mythical beasts. They are metaphors for the chaotic, random cruelty of a world operating without divine supervision. Here is the crucial shift, the hidden detail. Poseidon's relentless grudge against him is one of the last vestiges of old-world divine intervention, but it feels different. It's not a cosmic battle of wills. It's a bitter, personal vendetta that underscores how alone Odysseus truly is. The other gods offer little help. Athena's guidance is fleeting and often disguised. For the most part, Odysseus must rely on his own sharp, cynical, and often deceitful mind, the quintessential tool of the Iron Age survivor. He is not Heracles smashing his way through problems. He is a trickster, a liar, a strategist, who endures through sheer cunning and willpower. Scholars still debate whether Odysseus represents the ideal Greek man, adaptable, intelligent, and resilient, or if his story is a darker exploration of a hero who loses parts of his humanity, becoming a ruthless survivor just to get home. His journey is your journey, a desperate struggle back to a sense of normalcy in a world that has gone mad. As the last echoes of the Trojan War fade and men like Odysseus struggle through a fractured world, another quieter tragedy unfolds. It happens in the rustling of leaves, in the flow of ink, in the lyrics of a song. The Muses, the 9 daughters of Zeus and Nemesis memory, are losing their inspiration. For eons, they were the divine conduits of epic tales of creation, of titans, of God-blessed heroes. Their songs were grand, their stories world-shaping. But now, what is there to sing about? Remember that endless, grinding toil of the Iron Age. It doesn't make for a good epic. The Muses look down upon your world and see no Heracles, no Perseus. They see only petty kings, bitter veterans, and struggling farmers. Their art begins to change. Calliope, the muse of epic poetry, finds her voice faltering. The grand sagas are replaced by smaller, sadder stories. This is the Easter egg detail. The very genre of storytelling shifts. The epic gives way to tragedy and satire. The Muses now inspire tales not of glory, but of human folly, plays that explore the depths of despair, the cruelty of fate, and the foolishness of pride. They are no longer celebrating heroes. They are dissecting the flaws of ordinary, suffering people. Your lives have become their new, grim material. Scholars still debate whether the evolution of Greek literature from epic poems to tragic plays reflected a change in artistic taste, or a profound societal shift in how people viewed their own lives and their relationship with the divine. The goddesses of inspiration are still here, but they are now chroniclers of your sorrow. Their beautiful voices tinged with the bitterness of iron. Zeus sits on his throne on Olympus, looking down at the world you inhabit. He sees the endless wars, the broken oaths, the fields stained with the blood of brothers. He sees the Muses singing their sad songs. He sees the Iron Race, his final creation, wallowing in misery of its own design. His fury, once a terrifying and immediate force, has cooled into a weary disgust. He considers a final, cleansing solution, a great flood, not unlike the one he sent in the age of Deucalion to wipe the slate clean. The clouds begin to gather. The air grows heavy with unspoken doom. He could erase you all, and perhaps try again. Or perhaps not. But then, he hesitates. He looks closer, past the grime and the strife. Remember in part 1 when he created you not for glory, but for toil. He now sees the unexpected result of that decision. He doesn't see heroism or piety, he sees something else. Something that wasn't present in the golden or silver races. Resilience. A stubborn, gritty, throaty refusal to break. You endure. Without prophecies to guide you or gods to aid you, you get up every day and face the harshness of your world. This is the little-known spark that gives him pause. It's not love or mercy. It's a flicker of cold, divine curiosity. He created you to be lesser, and you somehow found a new kind of strength in that limitation. Scholars still debate whether the Greek flood myths were warnings against human sin or cyclical stories about cosmic renewal. Possibly influenced by older Near Eastern tales like the Epic of Gilgamesh. Zeus lowers his hand. The flood will not come, he will not destroy you, he will simply leave you to it. The decision is made. The age of myth is over. It ends not with a bang, not with a cataclysmic war between gods and men, but with a quiet closing of a door. One by one, the last vestiges of the divine fade from the earth. Remember the faint cries of Prometheus. They are gone. A hero from a bygone age. Heracles, on one of his final labors, at last unchains the Titan. It's a final act of mythic punctuation before the story ends. The major gods have long since retreated to a purely celestial Olympus, a place now as distant and abstract as a star. But the real Easter egg is in who leaves last. It isn't Zeus or Apollo. It's the small gods, the local spirits. It's the nymph whose sacred grove is cut down for lumber. It's the river god whose waters are diverted to irrigate a field, his spirit vanishing with the current. It's the Oread who fades as her mountain is quarried for stone. The magic of the world dies a death of 1,000 cuts, bled out by the relentless, practical, iron-willed progress of humanity. Scholars still debate whether this end of myth represented a historical change in belief, or the moment when philosophy and rationalism began to provide new answers to the world's great questions, replacing divine explanations. The last god leaves, and the world falls silent. There are no more monsters, no more miracles, no more prophecies. There is only you. You stand under an empty sky, the full weight of your destiny now resting squarely on your own shoulders. History has begun, and so, the curtain falls. The great, thundering stage of myth is now empty. The air, once thick with the scent of ozone from divine thunderbolts and the whispers of prophecy, is now just air. The story of gods and monsters has ended. Your story, the human story, now takes center stage. The burden of freedom, once a terrifying gift, has become your inheritance. The future is no longer written in the stars, but in the choices you make every single day. The age of iron, the age of hardship, is also the age of humanity, in all its flawed, tragic, and resilient glory.